Have you ever experienced that feeling that you're resting or you're chilling and you feel guilty about taking a break? When it's a very busy exam season and you feel uncomfortable with exercising or doing anything with friends because the only thing that you need to do is study to get the right results. If that sounds familiar, then you're not the only one. I struggled with this myself in my first years of university until I learned about 7 different types of rest that are going to actually help you be more productive and get you better results. Because the fact is that you're not lazy, but your brain needs rest in order to be productive. But of course, it is important that we know when to allocate those moments of rest and when to apply them instead of using rest to procrastinate on our goals, right? Let's make sure that there's a difference there. So what if I told you that there's indeed 7 types of rest that can actually boost your productivity instead of destroying it? That's what we will be talking about today. My name is Tom Vorselen, also known as The Study Coach, and I help students and adult learners with science-backed learning, time management, mindset, and productivity methods to help them achieve their academic and professional goals without sacrificing their mental and physical health. Today's topic, how to use rest as a productivity method. Let's dive in. Let's talk about why rest matters and why you should not skip it. Rest isn't the opposite of productivity. It is not the opposite. It is part of productivity. Just imagine that you're trying to use your phone when it's 0%. You need to charge it by letting it rest, and then you can use it again. But if you use your phone while resting, it feels slower, because it's still processing and working, it doesn't rest as actively as you would when you would completely drop it. So let's look at some research that shows that sleep is actually good for memory consolidation, for concentration, for learning, focus, and a lot more. So if we're neglecting sleep, that is actually negative for our learning process, for our productivity and focus the next day. So we never want to neglect sleep. Take that from me. Then the second thing is that chronic overload and chronic stress can eventually lead to feeling burned out, low performance, brain fog, and all those type of things, which indicates that not taking rest can have negative consequences, and taking rest can have positive consequences for your learning, your productivity, and your memory, etc. Now let's talk about the guilt-free mindset shift, because a lot of people, again, they feel guilty when they take rest. Again, I sometimes feel that as well, but I'm going to give you some tips and tricks that can help you. I want you to understand that thinking that you need to earn rest is a myth. You can use it as a reward, but you should use it as a strategic component of your productivity. Productive people, they rest strategically and not randomly. So they think about when they give themselves proper rest and utilize this. Coming back to the phone example, when you rest your phone, that's also when you rest your mind. Ideally, you just charge yourself by going on a walk, doing something else, allow you to keep scrolling while the thing is trying to rest. So let's dive into these 7 different types of rest that I mentioned earlier, because you need more types of rest than just sleep. The 7 different types of rest are from Dr. Sandra Dalton Smith. Number 1 is physical rest, which means sleep, naps, stretching, or getting a nice massage. The second type of rest is mental rest. This can be anything that has to do with calming your mind. This could be journaling, brain dumping thoughts, or doing meditation. And no, meditation doesn't mean no thoughts. This is a mistake people often make. Meditation means being conscious of your thoughts and being very present which ones you allow and which ones you don't allow, so that you are more conscious about the thoughts that you have. The third type of rest is something that we call sensory rest. We want to reduce the amount of input from screens, from scrolling, from hearing things. So anything that stops scrolling, gives you silence, that is giving you sensory rest. The fourth type of rest is something that we call emotional resting. This can be you want to share your emotions by talking to someone, expressing your emotions, or can also be time alone, just to make sure that you are giving time and space for emotions to be there. The fifth one is about social rest. You can use this in two types of ways, because sometimes you have energy giving people and sometimes you have energy draining people. So I want you to be very conscious and cautious of which people give you energy and you can spend time with them as social rest. They fuel your battery. And I want you to step away from people that drain your energy, because then you can also allow yourself to socially rest without having people to drain your energy and make you feel so tired. Number 6 is about creative rest. What we mean by that is, for example, you can go to an art show, or you can go to a concert, or you can go to a museum. Anything that is going to trigger your creative brain, because we often don't use that much anymore. We're only analyzing things and thinking critically. We're not as much creative anymore. So by going to any of those type of events, you are also giving yourself new creative input, which allows your analytic brain to rest, but activates your creative brain, can give you new ideas to implement in your studies, in your work, or any other area of your life. And the last one is spiritual rest. This can be woo-woo for people, but trust me, it works. Meaningful conversations with people, deeper conversations about thoughts, feelings, anything like that, meditation. Or for people who have a religion, this could also be prayer. This helps you to also rest and accommodate to your spiritual needs. How can you implement those 7 types of rest during hectic periods? First of all is that you want to schedule your rest time. Ideally, you have blocks in your calendar that are for exercise, for purposeful breaks, for walks, or in the evening when you want to stop working or stop studying, just to have a clear cutoff time. Next to that, a rule of thumb, very generic, is after 45 or 50 minutes of working, you take a 5 to 10 minute break. Most importantly, here, some sensory rest. Leave your phone, give your senses time to just chill, widen your gaze outside, be quiet, silence, and let them rest such that you can focus and concentrate again on the task afterwards. After 3 to 4 hours, you want to take a longer break. Go for a walk during your lunch break, have your lunch, and then maybe you just chill and you check your phone and do whatever you want to do. This rule has been life-changing for me. It's been super useful. It's called the 3-2-1 rule. The 3-2-1 rule in terms of rest, it can be super beneficial for you to create your night routine or be more conscious about how you're going to rest. It means that 3 hours before bed, you don't take any heavy meals anymore. This is why I have my dinner at 5 p.m. and usually I go to bed at like 9 or 10, so I can work in the hours after 6 p.m. and then I have a clear cutoff time at 9, which is ideally 2 hours before I go to bed, so that I don't work anymore. In those 2 hours, I take a shower, I read, I journal, do some breath work. Maybe I watch a leg of football I love, Champions League, for example. And then 1 hour before bed, you ideally don't use screens anymore. 3 hours before bed, no heavy meals. 2 hours before, no more work. And 1 hour before, no more screens, such that you can use that 1 hour for, again, reading, journaling, and maybe some breathwork exercise before bed. Another tip is you want to use rest when your brain stops cooperating. What that means is when you feel like you're stuck and you can't produce anything productive anymore, then take a break. Your working memory, for example, has a limitation called suffocation, which literally means too much in there. You're suffocating yourself by pouring in too much information and doing new things. When you then rest, you're giving yourself time to breathe, time to process, and therefore giving you new energy and possibilities to focus and concentrate. And lastly, make sure that you protect your morning and your evening. Ideally, in the morning, have time for yourself, 1 hour, no screens, go for a walk, exercise a little bit, and just have a gentle start. And in the evening, journal by writing things down, read something, and maybe do some breath work if needed. Now, as a summary, what I want you to remember is rest is a productivity tool, and it's not a sign of weakness. There's different types of rest, the 7 that we just mentioned, and I want you to start scheduling your breaks. Instead of always continue to work without any breaks, be very mindful of when you stop and when you continue. Guilt-free rest means studying smarter, not necessarily harder. You're actually doing your brain a huge favor with allowing it to rest. You will see an increase in your memory, increase in your productivity, increase in your concentration. If this was useful, make sure that you like and you subscribe. And if you want to learn more about a specific learning tool that we have, something called Bloom's taxonomy, and then we talk about different layers of learning, make sure to check out our latest video regarding that, which will be beneficial in your preparation for your exams and other learning endeavors. Hope you have an amazing day.